This is very serious, and I want everybody to listen up. An American with a family was just visited by men with guns at his front door, at his home, because some anonymous person claimed that he posted something on the internet that person didn't like. And then state and local authorities went to his house to question him about it. Let me just repeat. Men with guns came to a man's house, an American's house, for posting something that somebody else didn't like. Didn't make any threats, didn't spew or promote any violence, but he spoke his mind. He used his freedom of speech online and was visited by the local and state police. That man is Lucas Gage, and we're going to watch some of this. And I want your perspective on this. Imagine this happening to you. Things could have gone south very quickly on this guy, as is the case with the first execution of the red flag laws. Remember that in Maryland? I think it was Ferndale, Maryland. A guy named Gary Willis, he was 61 years old. Somebody said, hey, we believe that he's a danger to himself and to others. And then they were visited by the police. Well, Gary Willis is no longer with us. They visited him at 5:17 in the morning. He comes to his door, of course, as an American with his firearm so he can protect his family and his house and himself. And it ends with the ending of his life. So let's watch this real quick.
I'm just recording it for my safety and because I know how these people work. So
because we all wear body cams. So
okay. All right. So go ahead.
I received a couple of things, I guess, from what I would assume is your Twitter page.
Sure.
Just in reference to, I guess, Jewish people. Stuff like this. Stop being soft on Jews.
Right.
God is telling us to go hard on them. They deserve it. And stuff like that.
Right. This is not violent. This is, to me, saying hard and criticism to wake everyone up, even them. I've made several videos about this. I don't hate anybody. Watch out for this guy. I don't hate people. So this is the thing. What I'm doing, I'm pushing my free speech to the maximum. I'm not saying anything violent. I don't wish death upon anyone. I made several videos. Now, if you want to talk about death threats, I actually have tons of death threats from these people on me that I've posted on Twitter or X. I have them all saved on my computer of all sorts of death. I have IP addresses I got from these people. So they're the ones sending me death threats, literally saying to kill me and my family.
Right, which is absolutely wrong.
But even remember last time you came here to talk to me, I sent you guys the stuff and nothing happened. Because what can you do?
Well, we do run across problems. And like I said, nobody's here is coming to your house telling you what you can and cannot say.
Right.
Okay, but like I told you in the past, we hear certain things and we get...
But we are here because of what you did say. Let's pay real close attention to what this law enforcer is saying to Lucas, because it's very alarming. Very alarming on multiple levels.
Stuff pushed us. We at least have to.
I understand that, and that's your job. You have to make sure that I'm not some crazy violent person, and I'm not. That's why I'm willing to talk to you guys. But I'm recording this because I know how this works. Like you guys come here, then they say, "Oh, the police showed up," and the FBI came years ago with the same concerns because they came first about. I said, if you guys put shots on us, I'll put shots back. It's a play on words.
I remember that.
Remember that? Like, if you're going to come in here with shot, I don't even have a gun, by the way, just so you know. I'm not registered. I don't have a gun at all. Okay. I have PTSD. I don't know if I can even get a gun. But anyway, the point is, I've said things like this that are puns. They're play on words. I don't have any intention of hurting anyone. And I've made videos about this constantly. So when I say go hard on Jewish people, I'm saying when they make books about white privilege, you see the guy, Alvin Klein or some Jewish person saying white people this, white privilege that. It could be Tim Wise. It could be the late Noel Ignatieff. He's like, white people are a problem. They can say all this, and we can't push back and say, hey, you know what? You guys have a Zionist issue or communist issue, and these, there's people behind this stuff. The point I'm trying to say is I'm not saying anything violent, and I'm not going to actually condone violence against Jewish people. So we see this Israel-Palestine issue right now. Right? The Hamas went over the wall, killed some Israelis. Now look what they're doing. What they're doing is way worse, and I condemn both sides of the situation.
Yeah,
but
that's what I would say. I would condemn.
It's both. But I just lost my Linktree account, right? I just lost Venmo and PayPal for speaking out. Rolling Stone just wrote an article about me and several people on X.
And that right there is the state of the world today. And this is the future that we don't want. We don't want people to be debanked. We don't want them to be kicked off PayPal and Patreon and Venmo like I have been. See, basically, they're using your off-platform activity or the off-platform activity of others to terminate your account. Patreon is using your off-platform activity, whether you have a website or Twitter or Facebook or wherever your outlet is for your opinions on social media, and they're terminating accounts. This is how people live. People put in work behind the screen and behind the scenes and put up content. And if these banks, if these payment processors don't agree with your outlook, they reserve for themselves the right to economically terrorize you. It's crazy.
Yeah, oh, this guy's a Nazi, he's right. I'm not a freaking Nazi, but that's what they call you that. If you said, look, I'm proud to be, you're a Nazi now. They'll call him a Nazi. He's not even a white guy, right? If you say the wrong thing, if you say I stand against
this. Well, listen, obviously the world's super sensitive in regards
to
certain issues.
Of course, I understand that.
It's not just a Jewish thing. It seems to be just about everything.
Right.
But everything's sensitive.
But I mean, the thing is the APAC, the thing about Jewish folks in general, they're great at networking. They're great at that. So they have the ability to voice their opinion and their strength like that. Even Alan Dershowitz admits this. The thing is, we people, us normal folk, we don't have that. So then when they just defame and libel you, you have no response. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm pushing back to make this happen, where people understand, look, don't be afraid. Go hard back. Hey, listen, just because this happened 70 years ago to your people doesn't mean you could do this to the Gazans.
Now, I personally think that opening up to cops, state, local, federal, it doesn't matter, opening them up to them and throwing a bunch of words out there can only work against you. I've talked to Lucas about this. He said the reason he's doing is basically he's red pilling these people, and he's trying to meet them on their own backyard. Actually, this is on his front yard, because this is on the porch to his home where he lives with his family, simply because an anonymous caller called the authorities and said, hey, this person is breathing out threats, which he wasn't, which he doesn't, which he hasn't done. If you follow his social media posts, he's only telling you what his opinion is on the situation between Gaza and Israel and the state of Zionist and Zionism. He's not saying that anybody should be hurt. He's not calling for threats. He's not calling for any kind of punishment or violence to come down on anybody. He's just trying to say, hey, these people have an ideology that it looks like is not going to benefit the world. That's what we're talking about here. What I would like to know is, if you state and local authorities are going to come to my front porch and knock on my door, and you guys are going to come with the implied threat of force because you've got guns on your hips, if you're going to come to me with this right here from an anonymous source, what wouldn't you come to the door for? Because so far he's only shown one printed copy of one tweet that doesn't come anywhere near to being violent or being filled with threats.
It's pushing back with words. I'm not ever going to be violent or hurt people.
Obviously, we don't care about words. We care about actual physical violence and stuff like that, and threats for violence.
Yeah.
So that is our primary.
If that's all you're concerned with, then why are you here?
Purpose in coming out
Correct.
and talk to you.
But how do you guys interpret anything I said as violence? Is my question. Like, when it comes across your desk, does it come from the feds? Like, hey, listen, this guy's dangerous.
But if you remember when I came out here, I didn't accuse you of making violence.
Right, of course. I'm not saying you are at all.
I'm going to get some stuff across my desk that I'm going to have to come out and talk to you about.
Yeah.
Okay, and just make sure that what you're saying and what I remember you saying in the past is what you're applying, and that's that you're using words and you're trying to...
and it's...
So basically he's made himself the arbiter of what you can or can't say, when he formally said, hey, we're not out here to tell you that you can say this or can't say that. So basically he's stepping in the middle, making sure that what Lucas has said is something that's kosher with the local and state authorities.
Crazy, officer, you won't find one post where I say I hate anybody. Jewish person, black person, any person of any group or race whatsoever. I had a past, in my past I was a little more unhinged, but I've grown up from that. Because I am a veteran of PTSD. I even changed my name. My name is now Lucas Gage. I wanted to get rid of that life that I was involved in years ago, and I was confused trying to make sense of the world. And I come back, and I say, all right, I tell my wife I'm done with this because things like this happen. Wrote a book. Okay, said I'm not going to be an activist anymore. And then the Ukraine war happens. And I'm like, God damn, I got to say something. And then here I am viral again, and here I am. People want to hear what I have to say.
Right.
So because I'm growing in this way and I'm being tough, I'm saying what people want to say. They want to say things like, look, we're tired of this whining about this event, and we can't talk back. We can't question it. People are supporting me because I'm truly about free speech, and nothing I've said is violent or even advocating violence whatsoever. And that's obviously, you know that, but you got to do your job. They're going to send you here. You know, that's what they do. I'm not mad at any of you guys here.
I can tell you, I'm not being sent by, you know, a certain race of people.
Oh, of course not.
Religion,
right. Okay. Yeah.
You know, I don't have.
I know you don't get orders from like Israel or Tel Aviv. I know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right. I know that. I know there's this.
I wonder if that's true. I wonder if they don't get orders from there. We already know that American police forces, a lot of them in a lot of different states, have been trained by the IDF. We already know that. They admit it. The IDF admits it. American police forces admit to going to Israel to be trained by the IDF.
System, and people called you like in concern. The thing is, what these people do is the ones that are the ones that are fanatic. They get together, they start mass reporting, they start calling banks, they start calling credit cards, and they say, get rid of this guy, boycott. And then you get a report on your desk, this guy is crazy, look what he said, and this is why you're here. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, but as you can see, I don't know where they interpret that I'm being violent. I'm not. So
again, like I said, this is why I came out here. It's stuff like this. There was, you know, one other one, but I thought, you know, out of the three that I got, you know, these were the two more egregious out of the three.
There was absolutely, if you paid attention to what he read on that piece of paper that he has in his hand, there was nothing close to be what could be described as egregious. Nothing close. So my question again is, if an anonymous source can give them this post from this Twitter feed and they consider it egregious, what wouldn't they consider egregious to go, hey, let's just disregard that anonymous source because obviously they're out to lunch. Obviously they're out to lunch on this one, but these local and state authorities thought it was pressing enough to go to this guy's door with guns.
Lucas, I'm with the state police.
yes,
So the reason that the state police are here is because there was an anonymous tip to the Attorney General's hotline. They mentioned your name, said that
an anonymous tip to the Attorney General's hotline. Is that the U.S. Attorney General, Merrick Garland? Because if it went all the way to the top up there, we know what Merrick Garland is all about.
are here is because there was an anonymous tip to the Attorney General's hotline. They mentioned your name, said that you may pose a threat to the general public and Jewish people specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
they said that you have a bunch of guns.
But I don't have guns. I literally don't have guns.
Well, so my question to you, so I can look up who has registered guns and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody, that's all documented. But
so any anonymous source, what they're saying is, because they're there, what they're saying by their actions is any anonymous source can spew any lie against any American, any unsubstantiated lie against any American, and they're going to visit the home of that American. What if they do it 1,000 times a day? Are they going to visit all 1,000 occurrences of an anonymous source trying to pin an American to the wall? This is out of control.
Any guns that we don't know about?
No, I don't have any guns.
Nothing hidden, nothing brought out of state and brought in? Or
No, I don't have any
anything
guns.
that was gifted to you or that you inherited?
No, I don't.
I don't answer questions. I take the fifth. I would not doubt if these same local and state authorities get a search warrant so they can verify whether what Lucas Gage said is true or not. Would not doubt it at all.
I don't have any guns. And the thing is, I never even tried to get a gun because I have post-traumatic stress disorder. So when I went to my psychologist years ago, he said, I won't even give you a signature to get a gun. Because when I asked an officer, he's like, well, you'll probably get the gun, but you need to report the fact you have post-traumatic stress. The thing is, I think on the application, it says if you've been hospitalized. I've never been institutionalized. So I don't even know if I count or not. I just never got a gun. I just never have in my life. And I don't have any illegal weapons or drugs or bombs or anything.
Shotguns or anything like that?
Nothing. I literally have no weapon. And in fact, my wife and I were talking about getting one.
Listen to how many times Lucas says, I don't have weapons. I don't have guns. And they continue to ply him with the same questions, only from a different angle.
Because of these threats that I'm getting.
Does she have any in her
No,
name?
she doesn't.
Or was she gifted
No.
or inherited anything?
We don't have, honestly, we have nothing. I'm actually unarmed completely. Like, these people say, come kill me. I say, come on, come at me. And I have no weapons. I literally don't. So, like, the thing is now I should get one because now.
Well, let me just newsflash for everybody out there who thinks that these cops are sated with what Lucas Gage is saying about him not being armed. All right. We believe you. They don't believe you. They believe you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And then when you prove yourself innocent, even with video recorded evidence, they still won't believe you. That's how far gone they are. They're not coming to Lucas Gage's door as his friend. They're coming as enemies, wolves in sheep's clothing.
What do I do with the threats that I get? I have them all documented.
Like I told you last time, you have to report it.
Okay.
We don't know.
Well, I have them stacked up. I have them in folders.
We don't know about any threats unless they get reported.
Okay.
The one thing we could also do as the Brick Police Department is we do log lookouts on people's homes. So if,
Yeah.
you know, some house has been burglarized and they're worried about somebody coming back to burglarize, we can make it a lookout, which means that during the course of the duty, patrol officers check their neighborhoods. They can make a concentrated effort to check this particular residence. It doesn't mean they can sit out there for hours on end.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't
take an extra rides by.
You know what I just thought of? If you were dealing with a real constitutional cop, which I know that's an oxymoron, it's a complete just a contradiction in terms. But if there was such a thing as a constitutional cop, that cop would have said, when Lucas Gage says, "I don't have any guns," the cop would have said, "Why not? We have a Second Amendment. You have the unalienable right. I don't care what diagnosis they placed on you, PTSD or whatever. You have an unalienable right to keep and bear arms so that you can protect yourself, so you can protect your family, so you can go out there and protect our freedoms if need be, if we have a Red Dawn scenario." That's what a constitutional cop would have said. What do you mean you don't have arms? Dude, you got to get some. For goodness sake, you're only one man. You could be easily overpowered.
So we could make your house a lookout.
One of the reasons why I never bought a firearm is because this town is very safe. As of right now, it's very safe. So I had no reason. It's not like I live in Newark.
If you ever want to do that, you know, that's something that's available to everybody.
Of course,
that you
of
can
course.
make your house, you know, request that your house be a live lookout.
I have a quick question to you. So who tells you that I've like? How does that even just anonymous? Anyone could pick up the phone like this guy's going to kill someone.
Correct.
That's great. That's insane.
So that's anonymous. We can't verify who they are.
Right,
We
of
can't
course.
speak to them, so
But
that's why
these
I
are the
wanted to-
tactics that these people use. Yeah.
We're here to say that, you know, if you cross that threshold, it's going to be a different conversation. That's what we're
Of
here
course,
talking to you today.
of course.
Do you hear that? If you cross that threshold, it's going to be a different conversation. So they're admitting the threshold of spewing violence and inciting hate and all that kind of stuff wasn't crossed. And yet, where are they? They're on this man's front porch, knowing that the threshold, admittedly, knowing that the threshold was not crossed. Why are they there?
We don't have any criminal charges.
Of course.
So we're
but I
just
wouldn't,
trying to
even
tell
if I had a
your
gun or not, what am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Like I'd understand if you guys had a track record of assaults or violence toward people. I have nothing on my record at all.
We've talked about the just regular everyday civilians that have contacted.
Yes.
Do you have any issue with politicians, so the governor, AG, law enforcement?
Well, I
anything
think.
along those
Look,
lines? I mean, everyone has an issue. Look, you know, you didn't vote for so and so. I don't care about that.
I honestly
You
will
have a
tell you straight.
legitimate,
I think most politicians are traitors to our country. But what can I do? Vote them out. That's all I can do.
I'm talking about any plans of threatening action.
No, I can't. There's nothing. No, this is not like a Governor Whitmore plot, which, if you guys saw, is all feds anyway. But
Like, even if he said, no, I don't. You think the cops are really going to believe you? Of course you're going to say no, because you don't want to go to jail at that point in time. Anybody, whether they're guilty or innocent, whether they plan to plot or not, they're not going to tell the cops right there. It's kind of ridiculous for the cops to even ask that question, which, you know, that brings me to this point right here. I will not stop talking about this. Learn the law, know your rights, get this brochure, and invoke your right to remain silent. It's the most beautiful, powerful thing that you can do is exercise your unalienable right. This is in accordance with life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and security of property, knowing your rights and telling these cops, putting them on blast saying, hey, by the way, you guys being on my front porch is a violation of my pursuit of happiness. Because you guys are here, I have to take time out of my day to talk to you. Actually, I don't even have to talk to you. Here, read where you're in violation. Because these cops, I guarantee you, they're there to data mine. They're there to collect as much information about you as they possibly can, because they're there to build a case against you. Anything you say can and will be used against you in an injustice court of law.
so these people are shooting civilians. I mean, I'd understand a politician. I mean, look, if you did that, it'd be different. But even if you did that, you're not changing the system. You're getting rid of a puppet. So I don't advocate that, because it makes no sense. You have to wake the people up. That's my...
A puppet that's being animated by the powers that shouldn't be, like these cops. These cops are not the moralists that we need. They're the conformists that we don't need, because a moralist will do what is right regardless of what he's told. But a conformist will always do what he's told regardless of what is right. And that's what they're doing. They know they're not right being on that front porch, on Lucas's front porch right now, because they already admitted that he didn't cross the threshold. He didn't cross the line for them to have this separate conversation. There's no reason for them to be there. No reason at all. And I would not doubt that they're surveilling Lucas's house. I would not doubt that they sat outside the street, to watch their activities, to find out what time they go to work and all that kind of stuff, or surveilling the phone. We already know that the NSA does that at will. They don't even use warrants anymore for this kind of stuff because nobody's going to hear about it, right?
White people are fucking pussies today. You call them racist. Okay, they just back away. Don't look what's happening with the LGBTQ stuff. I mean, come on. They're telling kids chop off your dick. And I can't say I don't want to be called a homophobe. It's ridiculous. This country is. I went over to Iraq 20 years ago, 2 times in Iraq. I would have never signed up if I saw what this country would turn into. And I don't think anyone in World War I or World War II would have fought for this country knowing what it would turn into. Can you imagine going to fight the Nazis? And
just to let you know, I am sympathetic toward any American serviceman or woman who signed on the dotted line buying into the propaganda lie from their Navy, Air Force, or Marine recruiter that you're going to protect the freedoms of America. That's valiant. If you're really going in there to protect the freedoms and the lives and the property of Americans, that's one thing. But that's just a propagandized lie because we already know that all wars are bankers' wars. I don't care if it's the Vietnam War, the Korean War, World War I, World War II. We can't even have world wars without a central banking cartel holding the purse strings of the funny money. Amschel Rothschild said it very well. Give me control over a nation's money. I don't care who makes its laws. I don't care who the senators are. I don't care who the congressmen are. I don't care who the president of the United States is. I control the purse strings of the American money supply, the monetary supply. And as long as I can control the issuance and the value of that currency, I'm the one in control. I'm above all the laws of the land. That's what's going on. So any war that we get into, the House just allocated $14.5 billion to Israel. Yeah, they said they were going to take it out of the coffers of the 2022 budget and the IRS and all that kind of stuff. But it's still stolen money. It's money that they plundered from the American people to give to a foreign entity. Who are your representatives representing? Not you. Just follow the money. Keep bono. Who benefits?
And you come back 20 years later, you're a Nazi now. Why? Because you're white, or you're this, you're that. You don't believe in this. That's the problem, guys. So, for me, I'm a political activist. I've never advocated for violence. I never will advocate for violence because it's not the solution. You cannot solve anything with violence, really, unless you have a military and you go to war. And even that, what do you solve? There's always a peace talk at the end.
You're not. So
right.
We're sorry you went through what you went through in Iraq. We're not here to take too
much.
No,
I understand
time.
that.
We have a specific reason to speak to you about the.
Okay, no, and I won't.
Topics that we did talk to you about, and for me, that's it.
Yeah.
Just be smart. That's all. That's my only.
Sitting in a box in your house.
Well, it's on my computer. Yeah. Screenshots.
Right?
This cop is not talking about reporting guns. It sounded like that at first to me, but he's talking about reporting all these threats that you have in writing. Report them to the police department so that they can do literally nothing for you.
A box.
I mean, all you have to do is look at James Freeman's last video where that cop shot and killed that woman, shooting her in the back as she's running away. And that guy's not in jail. That guy hasn't lost his job. So he goes to the police station to ask them, hey, why? If it was me that did that, if it was you that did that, you'd be behind bars that day. And if they couldn't find you, they would deploy all the resources of the state in the air, on the ground, dogs sniffing around. And you'd be apprehended. But they're not going to put this cop in jail when he committed his crime on body cam?
Drive, wherever it is. There's no documentation of it.
Yeah.
And at the very least, I'm sure there's some that bother you more than others. Mm-hmm. So if you find one that you find particularly disturbing or credible, I mean, you can report them all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if there's one that particularly bothers you, call us up. Officers will come and take the report. We'll get a copy of it. We'll put it in the system, and
I'll print them
follow it up.
I'll do that next. Because...
And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but again, we'll make your house a lookout, to try and give you a little bit of peace of mind and keep an eye on things and, obviously make sure that nobody is coming to your house.
Thanks for nothing.
Well, so far it hasn't been that way, but you never know. The escalation.
A lot of stuff is just online people.
Yeah, they talk a lot of shit. They're venting. Look, the other side's afraid too. I mean, a lot of people that I'm fighting are probably brainwashed as well. Like, you couldn't tell me when I was in the Marine Corps at 18, you couldn't tell me I was an invader in Iraq. You couldn't tell me. You would never convince me that I was a bad guy. Turns out we were the bad guys, unfortunately. The wars are based on lies. But I don't want to get all philosophical with you guys because you also have things to do. But I have no problem talking to authorities. A lot of don't talk to anyone. I don't mind talking to people because they shouldn't be afraid to talk to the police because I have nothing to hide anyway.
I told these guys that you would most likely speak with us.
Of course, I have nothing. I've always
had no issues talking last time. No issues talking this time. again, let's just, as long as it's talk and it's
Yeah, of
nothing
course.
physical, then we're good.
Yeah, and again, I don't advocate violence toward any group. So if I'm tough in any group, I'm tough in my group. Black people, white people, everyone. You know what it is, guys, in this country? We are very diverse, but we cannot have groups protected from criticism and others, because then we're not equal. I mean, when I was a young kid, sticks and stones would break my bones, words would never hurt me. Today, anything I would have said to my friends is hate speech. We're all different races, black, Chinese.
Different world.
Yeah, it's a different world. So anyway, all right, guys, thank you for coming by and doing your part. Okay, take care. All right, take care. Bye. I will do so. All right, thank you very much. Oh, okay. Come on, guys. Really? This is what you want to scare me with? You want to scare me with the police? I got nothing. I don't even have weapons. I have nothing. I've done nothing wrong. And you're taking my criticism as death threats, as I'm going to hurt you. I don't need to hurt you. You're hurting yourselves. You are hurting yourselves supporting genocide in Gaza. You are hurting yourselves asking people to censor and ban everyone. It's you hurting yourselves. I don't got to do anything to you, and I never will hurt anyone. Again, I live around Jewish people. The next town over is Lakewood. Always Jewish people around. My doctors are Jewish. I have Jewish friends. This isn't going to work, folks. You got to try something else. How about you change your behavior and we all become a big family? That's my message, but you hate that. And everything I say that's true, you call it hate speech, and then you do this to try to scare me. It's not going to work, folks. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what just happened. I wanted to record it. I asked him if I could. He said I could. And there you have it. This is what happens to people like me fighting for the truth. But, I documented it. Now you can see. And, of course, I will report the death threats that have been sent to me and my family. And, unfortunately, nothing will come of it for sure. But, hey, it is what it is. This is part of the job, right? The job description. Fighting the truth. You're fighting very dangerous people. Take care, everyone.
And truth fears no scrutiny. The first casualty in any war is truth. Truth is the new hate speech, and truth will always be treason in the empire of lies. And how you combat it, the only real way to combat this kind of evil is to be good, to be moral, to be the moral compass in your society, to do that which is right, to defend yourself by any means necessary, to know their laws and throw those laws back in their face, because they did swear in a Bible that they would protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And what have they done? They've turned around to become the very domestic enemies they swore to protect you from. Throw the laws back in their face. Whether the laws are righteous or unrighteous, they said that they would follow them. They said that they would make sure that you were secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. How is men with guns coming to your house when they admit that you haven't crossed the line? There's no reason to have a different conversation. Then why is there a reason to have any kind of conversation? So they basically, men with guns who swore to protect and defend your freedoms, came to jeopardize your freedoms and make you insecure in your person by asking you questions about something that is clearly just free speech. So what you have here is you have Lucas Gage, who exercised his constitutionally protected right, which they swore to protect and defend, being jeopardized by the protectors and servants of the people. You got to know your rights. You got to throw them back in their face. And the best way to do it is to be silent, to exercise your Fifth Amendment right, to not say anything, and then give them the laws. This is chock full of the laws that they swore they would protect, defend, and uphold, and they're not doing it. That link will be in the description below. But I got to tell you, this is alarming, because this is the kind of stuff that is going to continue to happen. And if you continue to exercise your freedom of speech, whether online or in person, you can expect this kind of pushback, because the people who want censorship, the ironic thing is the people who call for censorship are actually calling for censorship to come down upon them. When they say, hey, if you're a supporter of Hamas, you deserve a knock at the door from the badged, armed law enforcement clowns. You deserve that. Oh, really? Well, who gets to determine what hate speech is? Who gets to determine what incitement of violence is? There are people who literally say, if you breathe words of support about Hamas, you deserve to be jailed. You deserve to be tried. You deserve to be economically terrorized. There are people who say that. Those people will say, oh, when they change the rules and it falls on me, I'm okay with that. No, they're not going to be okay with that when it comes down on them. See, censorship is a double-edged sword. You're not just censoring the people who are speaking. You're censoring all the people who want to hear the Lucas Gages, the Adam Greens, the First Amendment auditors of the world. You're censoring everybody because you don't like what they're saying. And you'll lie about those people and say, oh, their hate speech is inciting people to violence and making the world a more evil place. Well, that's your opinion. But the world doesn't revolve around your opinion. You can speak your opinion, and I don't want you to be censored, no matter how outlandish it is, no matter how unacceptable and unpalatable it is. You can say whatever you want to say. I will never call for somebody to censor you, because censorship is forcing people into silence by violence. That's what censorship is. Censorship is forcing silence by violence. It's the violence of the state exercised against somebody who you don't like saying whatever they're saying. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, subscribe to Lucas Gage, to Adam Green, to your favorite First Amendment auditors on YouTube and on Facebook or wherever, and support free speech wherever it's found. Don't promote violence. Support free speech. Support people's right to say things that you hate. You hate the fact that they said it, but you love the fact that they have the freedom to say it because they're in America. This is supposed to be America, land of the free, home of the brave, but it's turned into the land of the fee, home of the slave. So if you want to support this channel, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up. If you want to support further, grab a shirt, become a channel member. But most of all, the takeaway is this: freedom is now and will always be dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having it. I'll see you guys in the next video.